We start in the Caribbean, where Hurricane Melissa has torn into eastern Cuba after devastating Jamaica. Cuban authorities say more than 700,000 people have been moved to safety. Despite weakening to a Category 2 hurricane, forecasters are warning that Melissa could still cause catastrophic damage. Flooding triggered by the storm has killed at least 20 people in neighbouring Haiti. Hurricane Melissa was a Category 5 storm, the highest classification, when it hit Jamaica, causing widespread damage. At least 3 people have been reported dead, and Jamaican authorities have declared the entire island a disaster area. Let's take a look at this with Loyce Pace, who's Regional Director for the Americas at the International Federation of Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. She joins us from Panama City. Welcome to DW. Let's start with Jamaica. What are you hearing from your colleagues on the ground there?
Well, thank you very much for shining a light on what's happened here in the region. What we're hearing from the Jamaican Red Cross, first off, is that the impact was very much felt, not just in the main areas in the south and in the west, but really as far away as Kingston. Obviously, there has been extensive damage to infrastructure as reported by authorities, including roads, hospitals, schools. Thankfully, there were shelters and other supplies in place to provide support for communities before Hurricane Melissa struck, but very much still surveying the damage as you've shown and as you've reported. And we'll continue to learn more about the lives that have been affected and unfortunately perhaps lost as a result of this terrible storm.
Right. So it was a Category 5 when it hit Jamaica. It weakened to Category 2 for Cuba and Haiti. What are you hearing from those places?
We're still getting reports out of Cuba. We do have staff on the ground there as well. We're working closely with the Cuban Red Cross to understand their needs in country. For better or for worse, Cuba unfortunately has extensive experience with hurricanes on an annual basis. But it's the same sort of situation in terms of infrastructure being affected, in terms of certain communities, especially communities with fewer resources and access to services being affected more than others. And it's not just the storm or the direct hit. It's flooding, it's potentially waterborne diseases, and outbreaks, it's other issues that can affect countries such as Cuba and Haiti in the aftermath of the storm. And you should say that Cuba was already fighting several outbreaks before Hurricane Melissa hit. So it's really a compound crisis felt by our Red Cross community there.
And so what are they doing? What are your colleagues in Cuba and in Haiti? What sort of support are you providing?
Well, there are a number of things we were able to do before Hurricane Melissa hit as well. That in those places as well, we have supplies that we pre-position, put in place before a storm strikes. And those are things like hygiene kits to make sure people can be sure and watch after their personal hygiene and not be as at risk for some of these waterborne diseases. There are also other cleaning kits, water purification supplies, for example, to ensure they do have access to safe drinking water. There are other critical services and supplies we provide for shelter, like tarps and the like, cooking kits even, so that people can continue their daily lives as much as possible and receive those basic human needs. And of course, in the aftermath of the storm, our Red Cross community is working with authorities to understand those additional needs people have with regards to not just physical health, but also mental health. There's a lot of anxiety and stress or trauma as a result of this type of storm, especially a Category 5 hurricane. So it is important to keep in mind that first aid is not just about the physical body, it's about the mental one as well. And we want to ensure that people are able to recover emotionally from this experience.
OK, thank you for talking us through that, Loyce. Loyce Pace from the International Red Cross and Red Crescent Societies. Thank you.
Thank you.
Joining us now from Bridgetown, Barbados, is Daniel Longhurst. He's the Deputy Country Director for the World Food Programme there and is responding to the situation in Jamaica. Thanks for joining us, Daniel. Can you tell us, first of all, what the latest is on how things are looking in the region right now?
Yes, sure. Thank you. Good to be here. So in the region, we're seeing that there's been very, very serious effects in Jamaica. This is the biggest storm, as you say, to hit in 200 years. We've had 300 km/h wind speeds, 750 millimeters of rain, storm surges coming inland, and Jamaica is mountainous, so there's a very significant risk of landslides. Our teams are on the ground. We're witnessing this live. Flooded streets, power outages, downed trees, cut out telecommunications. There's a real sense of urgency. The conditions are very, very concerning for people across the country, especially for those in low-lying areas and in the west. Parishes like Manchester, Clarendon, St Elizabeth, who were also hit last year with Hurricane Beryl, have been hit again. As you say, also, we're monitoring the hurricane as it tracks north and east.
So given everything that you've just told us, what do people need most urgently right now?
Well, they need food assistance. They need support for other essential supplies. They're going to need shelter assistance. We need to ensure that we can get telecommunications up and going. We're supporting the government. The government is leading this response. So we're ensuring we're responding to their requests for support. We need to get ports up and working and support the government with that, and logistics. We're looking at bringing in food initially in food kits. We have 5,000 food kits that can feed 15,000 people for a week, ready to dispatch via air or sea. We're sourcing more commodities from the region. And now that the storm has passed, we need to get out on the ground, support the government to assess needs so that we know who's been hardest hit and how to target assistance most efficiently. People will have lost homes, they will have lost their incomes, their crops, their fishing equipment. So we also need to be thinking in the days and weeks ahead about how to support recovery efforts to get people back on their feet.
Can we talk about the effort made to prepare for this hurricane? Were supplies sent to affected areas in time? Were there evacuation plans in place? And did people follow those plans?
Yes, so certainly there was extensive preparation. It is always hard to understand how hard a hurricane is going to hit. This hurricane has been highly unpredictable. It built in force extremely quickly before making landfall. The path was not entirely clear of the hurricane. But regardless, there's been extensive preparation by the government in Jamaica. They had 800 evacuation centres open, messaging in advance to get people to move out of their homes, to move into areas of safety. There's the Jamaica Defence Force on the ground supporting the disaster risk management authorities to support people, to get people out of their homes and to coordinate the response. WFP has pre-positioned stocks in Barbados. We have agreements in country in Jamaica to provide food and to pack food kits. We also have pre-positioned staging areas with generators and telecommunications equipment set around the country to enable people to coordinate the response and distribute supplies, because you need these areas, you need these emergency hubs to help coordinate and distribute as needed. Our partners within the UN community have also got their own pre-positioned supplies, including in Barbados, which we will be dispatching as well.
Daniel Longhurst from the World Food Programme in Barbados, thank you so much.